Hey guys, today we're talking about similar figures and slope triangles. Okay, so a similar figure is a figure that has angles that are congruent, but is not necessarily the same size. So, for example, I've got these two triangles right here, and this one is slightly bigger in size than this one. So, triangle ABC and triangle XYZ have corresponding angles that are congruent, but their side lengths are not. So they are similar triangles, even though they are not congruent triangles. So when we look at these, everything is in proportion. If I take the side length AB, it is proportionate with XY, and BC is proportionate with YZ. So we can say that all of these side lengths should be equivalent fractions when we're done with them. So we know the side lengths of corresponding sides are similar in polygons in that they are proportional. So when we have two similar polygons, we can use proportions to find unknown lengths. For example, if I wanted to know the side length for EF, all I have to do is set up a proportion. So I know that 6 is the same spot as the X. So BC and EF should be similar side lengths. And then AC with DF should be similar. So I set up my proportion, 6 over X, and then 4 over 12. And I use cross products. 6 times 12 is 72, 4 times x is 4x, and I divide by 4 on both sides, and I get 18x, or 18 equals x. So my length here should be 18. Go ahead and try B over here, and I'll be back in just a second to show you the answer. Okay, so the first thing we have to look at is what side length goes with JK. So J goes with I, and H goes with K, meaning that they have the same angles. So L goes with G. So if I look here, if I rotate it, actually I take that back. I goes with L. Sorry about that. I goes with L because this side length is slightly longer than this one, and this side length is slightly longer than that one. So if we set up this proportion, we can set it up in two different ways. I'm going to show you both ways. So if you set up your proportion, your A has to go with the 14 and with its corresponding side, which is 4. So A over 14 equals 4 over 7. Notice how A is with the 4 and with the 14. Or A equals 14 and A over 4. So it doesn't matter which way, because either way you're taking A times 7 and you get 7A, and 4 times 14, which gives you 56, and you divide by 7 and you get A equals 8. So 8 centimeters is your answer. So how does this help us with functions and with expressions and equations? Well, we can use similar figures to represent the same slope. For example, right triangles can be formed like a staircase along your line to show and prove that the slope of the line is the same between any 2 points. For example, if I look at A, it's rising 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's going back 3. So my slope of triangle A is 6 over -3 or -2. If I look at B, it's going up 1, 2, 3, 4, so plus 4, and back 2. So the triangle B's slope is 4 over -2, which equals also -2. So if we show that the slope of this one and the slope of this one equal the same thing, then we know we have similar figures that are proportional, and they help us find the equation of the line. In this case, since this is my slope, it's a -2x, and it's passing through this point here. So we go down 1, 2, 3, 4. So negative 2x minus 4 is my equation. Go ahead and try this one for me. Prove that it has the same slope and write the equation of the line. I'll be back in just a second to show you what I did. Okay, so the first step is to count your slope. It's rising 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So plus 7. It's running 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So plus 7. So if we look here, the slope of triangle A is 7 over 7, or 1. If we look at triangle B, it's rising 2 and running 2. So the slope of triangle B is 2 over 2, or 1. So we know that is the slope of my equation, so it's just y equals x plus b. Because 1x or just an x, it doesn't matter, it's the same thing. So, whoops-a-daisy, we can have either or. I like to just have the x because it means it's simplified. And my b is passing through at negative 2. So y equals x minus 2 is my answer. What if it doesn't pass through a perfect point? We have to think back to what we did in our previous unit on functions. You have to figure out your slope and then solve for b. So the first step on ones like this would be to find your slope triangles. So it's rising 3 and running 4. And b is rising 9 and running 12. So this is also 3/4. So to start my equation, I have y equals 3/4 x. It's positive because it's going from the left to the right upward. And then plus b. We don't know what b is, but we know that it's going to be somewhere in between a -1 and a -2. Okay, so let's pick a point on our line. I'm going to pick one that's positive just because I like that better. And I can tell with this one, I can pick any point. I can pick this one or this one because they're both positive, only because I like working with positives. And I like working with zeros, so I'm going to pick this one. So where x is 2, y equals 0. So I'm going to plug in 0 for y, and 3/4 times 2 plus b is what I'm doing here. So 2 times 3 is 6. So I have 6/4 plus b equals 0. And really, this 6/4 is 1.5. So I'm going to take 1.5 away from both sides. And when I do so, I'm left with b equals -1.5. So my equation is y equals 3/4 x minus 1.5. Okay, go ahead and try this one for me, and I'll be back in just a second to show you the answer. Okay, prove that triangles A, B, and C all have the same slope, and then write the equation of the line. Okay, so here's what I did. Okay, so I know the slope is positive, and if I look at A, it's rising 6 and running 4. So that's 6 over 4, 3/2. If I look at B, it's rising 3 and running 2, so 3/2 again. And C is rising 9 and running 6, so that's 3/2 again. Make sure that you check your work with a red pen because you should already have this done. Now let's look at the equation of the line. We know that all of their slopes are 3/2. So y equals 3/2 x plus b. Okay, so I'm going to pick a point. I'm going to pick this one because it is perfectly on the line and it's right at where x is 1, y is 0. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in 3/2 times 1 plus my b, and that equals 0. So this is 3/2 plus b equals 0. Take the 3/2 away, and I'm left with b equaling a -3/2 or a -1.5. So the equation of the line is y equals 3/2 x minus 1.5. And that's all I've got for you today. I'll see you next time.